Hello, today I'm going to be talking about this CD. This is Down in the Alley. It was released last year and it contains Elvis's performance on August the 19th, 1974 in Las Vegas. It's a very special show which I'll go into in a second. My name is Shane Brown. I'm the author of Reconsider Baby, Elvis Presley, a listener's guide, which takes the reader on a journey from Elvis's first session through to his last one, covering every session and every song, as well as live recordings, rehearsals, demos, and so on and so forth. It's all about the music, and that's the book. So, Down in the Alley, this is the latest incarnation of this concert. It's a famous concert, first came out on soundboard, which means it was recorded at the mixing desk in the 1990s, where it caused quite a stir. And the reason why is because Elvis's shows over the years very much had a set format. So you would get CC Rider generally as the first song, you would normally get I Got a Woman as the second song, and most likely Love Me as the third song. And he didn't change the songs up as much as some people do, but not as little as some people suggest. Anyway, with this opening night show in 1974, he added a load of songs into his show, like Down in the Alley, Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues, It's Midnight, If You Talk in Your Sleep, Softly As I Leave You, If You Love Me Let Me Know, Promised Land, My Baby Left Me, and so on and so forth. My Baby Left Me had been in the Memphis show earlier in the year. We don't quite know what made him do this. He'd been having quite a good year on live performances. There's the wonderful March tour, and if you haven't got the Memphis show from that, you really should go and get it because it's wonderful. And the shows in the middle of the year weren't too bad either. And then we know that he spent a lot of time rehearsing for the August 1974 Las Vegas season and changing his repertoire, as I say, quite completely. He opens, instead of opening with CC Rider, he opens with Big Boss Man. And the story of this show, as it's been told over the years, is that Elvis changed his songs and the audience didn't like it very much, and the next night he changed everything back. Well, most of that is actually untrue. Elvis changed his songs, but he kept some sort of core elements in his show, and the next night he didn't change everything back because he actually kept quite a lot of those new songs, but he put them back into the format of the show as it was, i.e. with CC Rider at the beginning and I Got a Woman and Love Me and so on and so forth. As for the audience not liking it being the reason for him changing things back, I'm not sure that's the case, because in the past we've listened to the rather dry and dull, dead sounding soundboard. It's not a good recording. But with this release from last year, a big improvement was made to the sound, and we can actually hear what's going on a lot more. And the truth is, Elvis doesn't sound very good. He sounds distracted, he sounds a bit lost, he's not really in his stride. It's a strange show because he's not singing badly, but he just doesn't seem to be in the right headspace. Now, what's interesting about this is that around the same time that was released, some video footage emerged on YouTube from a fan who somehow filmed the opening minutes of the show on 8mm from the audience. And what we see is Elvis coming on with a microphone and wandering around the stage singing Big Boss Man as his opening number. That's not what he normally did. He would normally, as many fans will already know, come on the stage. He would walk up to a microphone stand and he would put a guitar over his shoulder and he would use those as a crutch to get through the first couple of songs. And by that, you can grab the guitar, you can grab the microphone stand, you've got something to lean into. He doesn't with this show. With Big Boss Man, he's wandering rather aimlessly around the stage, not really with any direction or any preordained plan, it seems. And it reminds me actually of the movies when he's playing the role of a singer who's on stage, and they get him singing with no microphone or no guitar, and he's just singing on the stage. He doesn't really know what to do with his hands or the rest of it. And it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that a great deal. And I think anyone who's been on stage, whether professionally or at an amateur level, will know how important it is to to feel confident in that first or second number, to get the audience on your side, to know exactly what you're doing and feeling confident. And it's quite clear from the video footage, he's not looking particularly confident at that moment. And I think it's less to do with the change of song at the beginning of the show and more to do with the fact that he's got this, or not got this crutch that he can lean into. But anyway, he kind of gets into his stride by about 2/3 of the way through the show. But he goes from Big Boss Man to Proud Mary, which presumably would have calmed him down a little bit because it's been in his show for 3-4 years. Then he sings Down in the Alley, which is a song he recorded during the same sessions as How Great Thou Art album in 1966. This was his one and only, as far as we know, live performance of it. The same is true of Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues, which he recorded in December 1973 and appeared on the Good Times album. Again, he just does this once and that's it. Never Been to Spain. Well, he'd been doing that a couple of years. It's Midnight. This was the first outing of that, as far as I recall. I might be mistaken. There might not have been one during the summer, but I don't think so. So It's Midnight was the B-side of Promised Land when it came out. It's a typical 70s Elvis love song, lost love song, if you like. If You Talk in Your Sleep sort of sounds like it's kind of a 70s funky type number written by Red West. That did stay in the repertoire for the entirety of the season in Vegas, as did It's Midnight, I might add. He then reintroduces I'm Leaving, which was a very minor hit in 1971. He's done it occasionally on stage since then, but here it's back in. Let Me Be There, he'd introduced in earlier in the year, either January or March, I can't remember which. He then does Softly As I Leave You. God help us, God, it's dull. But there we go, he does it anyway. If You Love Me, Let Me Know, this is the first performance of that, I think. And then he goes back to his older stuff, like Love Me Tender, Poke Salad Annie, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Fever, Hound Dog. Stuck in there is Promised Land, which is another new song, and that lasts for a couple of nights, but then he reintroduces it the following year in the March season, I think, March 1975. So Elvis, as I say, by the end of the show, he's okay, he's doing okay, but it's one of the worst shows of the season, bizarrely. I don't include in that the last 2 or 3 shows. The same label, MRS, has released an album called Breathing Fire or something like that, which covers the last show, which I don't know. I'm in very much two minds about whether that should be released at retail level, because it's a mess, and Elvis is clearly not in a good place, and he's giving lectures about liver biopsies and his wife and drug stories and all kinds of stuff. It's sad, actually. But this, Down in the Alley, is this show from the beginning of the season where everything could have changed. People say that he never changed his show again. That's not really true, because the following March he cut out virtually all of his oldies and brought in some stuff that he'd recorded in the studio a couple of weeks before, and some more songs that had been in this season. So I think it's untrue to say that this was the last roll of the dice in changing the Las Vegas show, because he did it again the following March. But anyway, Down in the Alley, it's not the best sounding of all the MRS releases, which normally sound really, really good. This started off as a very, very dead, dull sounding soundboard, and this is a huge improvement, but you're not going to mistake it for a regular professional recording, I don't think. But it's worth hearing, even if it isn't Elvis at his best. Take care.